Hello and welcome back to the NSC Playoffs Week 4. I am your host, Imagine.
And I'm Click.
And we will be your host and analyst for this week.
And today we'll be showcasing a matchup versus SMCL versus Oxford Omnics. And we're going to have a best of 5 series and we're going to have different hero bands each map to keep things interesting.
Yeah, and these teams are meeting very late onto the tournament. We did have Oxford on last week. They were victorious. Can they take another victory today?
I want to see another MVP performance because everyone on that team played exquisitely.
And we're going to cut to a short break as the players get into the match, but right after that, we'll be back with our casters.
welcome back. Sorry for the slight delay there, but it looks like we're almost about ready to go into our first map. We're looking at Nepal first.
Yes, and SMCL have banned Orisa.
Yes, definitely. So we saw the Orisa very strong from Oxford Omnics last week.
Yeah, big fan of that.
Yeah, it's certainly just a target ban straight at Renee, but we see Oxford coming back with the Baptiste ban.
Yeah, so what do you think they'll be looking to play? I mean, obviously we've seen a lot of Vendetta on there and a lot of the Sojourn, but I don't think that was Oxford's strategy last week when we saw them.
No, definitely. I think you see people like Egg Roadman much better on the Cassidy last week, and Sergeant Squirt, amazing performance on the Tracer. But any second now, we should just be getting into our match.
Yes.
And here we go. Point 1.
And we're looking at Sigma versus Ram.
Okay, yeah. And a teleport in from Strathclyde, or from Oxford here first. SMCL, of course, that's Strathclyde University. And
now, interesting here, we see that Oxford have got the Tracer, which means they're really going to be looking to get those flanks off to pick off Strathclyde.
Yeah, definitely. As Renee here on the Ram takes early presence here. Door finding a couple shots off. Not really finding much luck here as they just sit back and poke for Strathclyde. Sergeant Squirt does get caught on the flank. And there's really just not a lot happening here for Oxford. They just have to sort of chill back, wait for some kind of mess up from Oxford here, as Strathclyde are able to take point presence, but it's not really that much.
Yeah, Sergeant Squirt really is just a big presence, big scary presence on that point. Keeping it under control, and the Sigma falls low.
Definitely, as Oxford takes first flips, Renee is able to pull down on Sigma Man, and it's just walk forward button from there as they clean up Sojourn and Vickery.
Yeah, Renee just punching through, showing that they're not just an amazing Orisa player, but also got the Ram to pull out.
Yeah, I think that's the difference between this Ram comp and this Sig comp here, especially with the Tracer. They're able to hold a lot better here as we see the Ramacha holding really far forward. The Tracer just in the corner there. Sigma Man just has to put a little pressure into the Ramacha, wait for his Tracer to come around the corner. But it doesn't really have much shield here, so he can't push that far forward.
Yeah.
It sits around us. Sergeant Squirt is able to pull off Door.
Sergeant Squirt going to be getting the pulse bomb soon. Who do you think they'll be looking to get? I think definitely looking to get on that Kiri to stop that Kitsune getting from opening the fight. So looking to flank right behind Strathclyde.
Definitely, yeah. As Oxford R can easily push in with either support ult, but it's actually Envy that's going to push forward with the Soj ult. Doesn't find so much so far as Quinfun is able to counteract. Lots of ults coming up from both sides as both support ults are used for Oxford Omnics. The beat is used from Cheeseburger in response. And it's Envy here, finds 2. Door is able to clean up the carry, and Strathclyde are finally able to take the point.
Yeah, that's not the best of fights for Oxford. They did commit 3. 2, they double support ulted, which I think is really going to hurt them, especially with that Deadeye coming up and the Flux. They're just going to have to look to get some early picks, and Egg Roadman hopefully will be able to pop off with the Overclock.
Yeah, we see Sergeant Squirt here. Brutal damage into the Lucio, but doesn't manage to find any picks. Renee, he knows they have the Annihilation ready and is walking forward without any problem. Door using the High Noon to counteract the Sojol. But Sergeant Squirt is able to find the pick onto the Lucio, and that opens up Oxford to run forward. Sergeant Squirt finds another. Door is able to get their own pick onto Egg Roadman, but it might not be enough, as the Sigma has to back off. And it looks like Door is going to find some trouble in the room there.
Yeah, 1 HP gets taken out by Renee.
The Flux here from Sigma Man. Maybe be able to get Door, but the Annihilation keeps them alive. And Renee falling low though, and the supports aren't able to keep him alive. Envy able to find 2, as Strathclyde surprisingly are able to flip the point.
I think that was a nice attempt. That was a nice attempt from Renee to try and bring back the fight. But I mean, it was an effective Annihilation, because now they only need 1 more fight to take this first round.
Unfortunately not though. Like, Strathclyde were able to just stay back, wait and bait out the ults, and now they have the presence. Percentage is matching here, as the Susie does have to come out for Strathclyde. That's an easy engager. Then we falls low as well. Sergeant Squirt already pressuring the back line. And it's looking like an easy pulse here, potentially onto the Lucio or the Kiri. But no, Cheeseburger is able to shut him down. Renee here now has to back up as the beat comes out for Tracer. Comes out for Cheeseburger, sorry.
Oxford replying with the Kitsune to burn through that
That allows
beat.
Ex-Roadman to take a load more space and allows Strathclyde to back up, and Oxford can push forward. Mudkip using the... Oh, I've forgotten the name of the ult. Using the ult there, and does fall to Sigma Man.
Yeah, that was a last-minute panic. I think Renee should be able to...
Yeah, Renee here taking the point presence, and the Kitsune from Tartan Boss means the door can just fire infinitely into Oxford, and that is looking like it's going to be point number 1 to Strathclyde.
Yeah, Strathclyde really just playing to use their ults in response to Oxford, so even if they use like Kitsune at the same time, Strathclyde just... mows through, and their Kitsune just lasts longer.
Yeah, definitely. I think Strathclyde have done a very good thing here of playing second. They're waiting out these cooldowns. They're forcing out the Suzus. They're waiting for their Tracer to be in position. And even though it may not look like the Sigma is doing that much, he's constantly has no barrier. He's using Flux early. It's all that pressure that he's eating up allows them to play a lot more safer and allows them to engage with their own overclocks, with their own Kitsunes, and ultimately, it means that they can take the pressure on the point then after Oxford have run out of abilities. We do have a pause here. We're not too sure what's going on, but we will be back into the game as soon as possible.
Yeah, I think I'm not really sure what they are, what Oxford is hoping to do with the Wu Yang, because it seems like the Lucio might just be better to give that Ram that speed, especially in Annihilation, just to really run Strathclyde over. Because the only time that I saw the Wu Yang out really was when Mudkip was trying to get out from that Sigma, but just got mowed down.
Yeah, definitely. I think they need to be very careful as well, because you've got people like Renee, people like the Surge and the Cast following up, and it can be very easy for them to just run down main, leg it forward, and the way that Strathclyde are playing, they can just so easily just rotate around and walk on Mudkip and walk on your backline. Yeah,
I would definitely say that Strathclyde seems to be very tight-knit and knows, well, both teams are, but Strathclyde are just playing really well around their DPS, I think.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. I think they're really good time management. They're playing so slow. But that's not to say Oxford have been down and out this whole fight. No. They've had some amazing picks. Sergeant Squirt finding the backline on most of the fights they've won. And Renee has taken amazing presence on point and in the chokes. And
yeah, really good at taking and holding that space. It's just a shame that Strathclyde seemed to be able to just separate them, and Renee just gets knocked out.
Yeah, so it's looking like we have a pause here while one of the players has to restart. We'll get them back into the lobby as soon as possible, but it shouldn't be too long. So what do you think Oxford need to maybe, not necessarily change up here, but what do you think they could do differently coming into the next point of Nepal?
I think they need to play off Sergeant Squirt's picks, and really like when they pick off that Tracer, that Kiriko or that Lucio, I think that's really when they need to just beeline it down, and Renee just needs to go in with Brawl form and just kill them. Because I think that we've seen them do this before with the Orisa, yes, but I definitely think that they have that potential to succeed in fights like that. Also, I think maybe their ult management, and maybe try and look at what Strathclyde are doing and the fact that they are responding with ults, and potentially do the same. Yeah, definitely. I think if Oxford were to adapt the Strathclyde special here, I guess, of going a lot more slower and being a bit more reactive. And I think they especially were able to when they had the point presence. You know, like, you have the defender's advantage, they need to come to you. You have the time to back up, and I think if they can maybe not spend so much time standing around taking damage and waiting, and instead taking the fight when they want to, when they're ready to, and when their Tracer is set up, it could definitely mean a lot less ability usage for them. Yeah, it did seem like the fights were, thinking back now actually, it seems like that entire round was just one long fight. I don't think there really was like a specific time that I can think of where no one was taking any damage. Yeah, definitely, yeah. And I think that really was to kind of like their detriment, and I think that's probably how Strathclyde took it, and potentially will continue to do that if Oxford can't figure out a way to crack through their defenses.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think about this? So obviously Rene, Orisa player, Orisa's banned at the moment, choosing to go for the Ramatra into Sigma Man's Sigma. What do you think of that matchup?
I'm not really sure. I mean, I feel like the fact that I think the Strathclyde decided to go with the Sigma to help their 2 longer range DPS and like poke them out. And I think the reason why Rene decided not to go for the Sigma is because they've got the Tracer, but I think they would really benefit a bit more from that maybe, or just something that, because Rene just seems to be taking all this damage and they can't seem to out-heal it.
Yeah, definitely. It's about rotating the cooldowns, obviously. You've got the shield, you've got the Brawl form, but the problem is then if Rene uses the Brawl form, they can't push with it, which is why like Sigma's one of the best tanks in the game right now. You can rotate really well between the shield and the kinetic grasp, and it allows them to, the kinetic grasp can be used to pull back, to push forward, and it's on such a shorter cooldown compared to Brawl form for Ramatra.
Yeah, I think the Sigma v Sigma might benefit Oxford a lot more, because then you can get that Sigma poke in, and then with the Tracer in the back line, you poke them down to half, and then 1 Tracer clip, and boom, they're gone.
Yeah.
I think that especially will work on Shrine, and looks like we are getting back into it.
Okay. So we're looking at about the same comps now for both sides. We'll see the TP coming in from both teams here.
Choosing to stick with the Ram. I guess they think that they can... Oh, I suppose they can play around the pillar in the middle and point.
Yeah, definitely.
A lot more to play around compared to last map.
Yeah, I think if Oxford can take first point presence here the same way they did, and we have another pause, if they can take the same point presence they had at the start, but maintain it and be able to kite and play this push and pull game rather than just standing there and tanking the damage, then it'll be strong for them this round.
One thing I am really happy to see, though, is that Mudkip is on the Lucio, and I hope that they stick on that, because I think that is, I would say, a lot more effective than the Wu Yang, especially in helping that Ram. I think that might be the reason why they've chosen to stay on the Ram as well, so that they can boost him forward. Because I think especially like Annihilation is probably going to be their big win condition in this match.
I think definitely, being able to rotate the Sigma for Strathclyde back and forth with the Lucio helped a lot. We're looking at potentially, I think it's one of the players on the side of Strathclyde, I believe. They're having some ping issues, so we'll get that sorted as soon as possible.
Never a smooth day.
Never a dull moment. I mean, we've done a couple of these streams now. It's the 4th one we've done.
Yeah.
We've been seeing a lot of 3-0s, so this is exciting. At least it's something different. It gives us more time to talk about Overwatch.
I think this is a very difficult matchup to see, because they went very close in the first round.
Yeah.
And not that all of the other games weren't good games, but this looks like it's going to be a good game, and I'm really hoping that both teams at least get like one map and it's not a sweep. And I think these teams are very adaptable.
Definitely, yes, yeah. Okay, so Sergeant Squid is probably going to end up playing the Tracer. Envy looking to play the Sojourn. I think, you got players like Doors with such pick potential, as Strathclyde here looking to take the right side. Brawl form already used for Rene, falls low and has to back off, as Sigma Man can just poke damage in with Envy for free. They're able to take a bit more point presence here, as Cheeseburger finds Egg Road Man. This is an easy walk on to point here, as the Suzu is already reused and Rene falls lower and lower. Sigma Man is able to just chill on point with the kinetic grasp, as Sergeant Squirt falls. And this is the go button for Strathclyde here. As they get the flip.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just taking all of the damage, and like you said, using that Brawl form, having to use that Brawl form really early. And at this point, you really have to say, is it worth it to play the Ram to give them all this ult charge?
Definitely. It's so easy. Sergeant Squirt here switching over to the Mei, perhaps to use the wall to protect their Ram, or maybe just split off someone like the Sigma. Egg Road Man has the charge shot. can't find much as Renee falls low on the rotation. Everyone on Oxford falling low now as Renee dies.
Yeah, that...
Sigma is able to find off Sergeant Square, and it's such a quick and easy fight for the Strathclyde here.
Yeah, it's just too much damage.
Yeah, it's
Just overwhelming.
we noticed Oxford doing the exact same thing last week though. They were able to take the fights earlier and get them on the rotations and make them fall low. And it's interesting how they're falling to the same thing.
Getting a taste of their own medicine.
Envy here now, looking for some poke damage as Strathclyde have to back up to the point. But they have the Flux coming up, they're both support ults. Looking like a strong fight for Strathclyde.
Yeah, I think Oxford... I don't really know what they feel like they can do.
As
they need to take it slower.
looking to get some poke damage. Maybe get that build, beat ready as Sigma Man looks to get the ult off. Doesn't manage to find someone, but the beat from Cheeseburger matches Finfront's Kitsune as they all fall, and Sigma Man finds 3.
I was kind of hoping that Finn wouldn't use the Kitsune, but I mean, they're going to be coming into the last. Yeah, they're going to be coming into the last fight. Don't have all of their ults close to them, but real question is will they be able to get them before that fight starts and actually touch the point?
You're going to look to build up that Blizzard and just chuck it on point probably, but the Deadeye, the Kitsune is going to be a nightmare as the Deadeye and the Overclock Porsche as well as the Kitsune. Envy here gets Renee low as Door finds one with the Deadeye. Door finds 2. The beat and the Blizzard here used for Oxford, but nobody touches. And Strathclyde takes map 1.
Wow, what a interesting round. I mean, I don't know. They didn't get to... I think Oxford I think they got a bit stumped with what to do. Because like that first round, it was really back and forth, and then it got really one-sided. I think they need to realize that the DPS are just mowing your ram down, and like I keep saying, it's too much, because if you're already 1 HP before the fight even starts, it may as well be over.
Definitely, I think Oxford are just walking forward, and Strathclyde aren't having any of it. They've taken the space already. They've got the pressure on point. They're just forcing the damage down main, and there's nothing Oxford can do about it. You can get like Sergeant Squirt on a Tracer to take some off angles and take some pressure away from the main line, maybe. Something like that. You can maybe send a Lucio off with them, and it allows them to survive some more. But if Oxford keep going the way they are, they cannot take presence anywhere. They cannot take positioning. It's not going to work.
Yeah, no. And there really just wasn't much they can do. That like they tried with the Lucio, they tried with the beats, but yeah, overall Strathclyde just take map 1.
But that's only map 1. There's more maps to come. It could all change. We're going to cut to a very short break, but when we come back, who knows what Oxford could pull out of their sleeves. So we'll see you in just a moment. and welcome back. So, it's map 2 in the series, Oxford Omnics versus SMCL. We're going to go to Shambali next.
I'm really hoping I see some Orisa.
Yes. Shambali is obviously plays quite well, though, into the comps that we've seen. The Sigma, the Ram, both long-range heroes. It'd be great for what we've seen before, the Sojourn, the Cass, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Cass, Oxford have banned him.
Yes. So we've got the Cass ban first from Oxford. That makes sense.
Definitely.
Door, bit of a menace on the Cassidy, especially down into the backline of people like Mudkip. But in response, you see the Alari ban from Strathclyde, which makes sense. On a map like this, you got the long range, you got...
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. But what it does mean now is that Orisa is now on the table for Renee. We saw an amazing performance from last week. And do you think that's what we're going to see, though? Or do you think they'll stick with the Ram?
I don't think so. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, okay, so...
And we are seeing a couple of role changes. We got Egg Roadman on the Kiriko.
Yes, as Zap comes in for Oxford Omnics. Sergeant Squirt might be starting out on the venture here. It might be bait, we don't know. No, it looks like they will be. Oh yeah, look at them hiding here. Okay, Envy getting an initial pick perhaps on the Widow. But Renee taking this high ground and dominating. Oh!
The jetpack.
The jetpack cat from Cheeseburger plus the Flying Widow. Quite difficult to land, but doesn't get anything, and we'll probably go back to swap. Sigma Man here, taking space forward, but Zap is able to hold them back.
Envy swapping over to the Sojourn
Renee
now.
falls low and will have to use the Spear Spin to get out, and the Hyper Ring, as Sergeant Squirt just being in a nuisance right on top of the Sigma.
Looking to just bully him and make sure he can't really leave that room.
Zap is pumping damage in as Cheeseburger is able to find Egg Roadman. Sigma Man does also fall low and has to back out. Sergeant Squirt taking the duel against Dwar here, but falls as Peel comes through from the team.
Sigma Man's Sigma just seems to be
definitely. Dwar
formidable.
Finds another, and Sigma Man finds Zap. Dwar, Envy, is falling low, but Cheeseburger has the clutch, and Renee is being forced back further and further as Strathclyde are able to push forward.
Yeah, I think there's a reason why Sigma Man is called Sigma Man.
Definitely, yeah. Sigma Man, of course, more popularly known as Umbra.
Yes.
Yes, okay, yes. Renee, though, is looking to just take the pressure straight into the Sigma Man. Walks forward with the speed boost, pushes the Soj Cat back as the Suzu gets forced out.
Yeah, we really need the venture to
but it's Egg Roadman to finish the kill on Tartaboss. Dwar also falling low and is the next to fall again to Egg Roadman. Lethal on this Baptiste. Sigma Man gets stuck here as Zap is pulling the pressure, but Egg Roadman finds another on the Cheeseburger. Sergeant Squirt falls, but it's not really enough.
He may have swapped over to the support role, but that doesn't mean only healing.
Exactly, yeah. Can't go. He kills a fourth. And it's looking like Oxford Omnics are able to hold their position here. Probably all thanks to Egg Roadman here on this Baptiste. Already has the window.
I'm hoping for a flank window maybe, or potentially one up here. I think that will really...
A TP from Zap, though, onto the high ground.
Oxford
does mean they have to back up, but Envy's coming forward with the overclock.
Big wall.
The sim wall is counteracting it, though. Lots of ults coming on for both teams now, as Envy isn't finding anything, just has to back up and wait out this wall. Renee means that they fall very low here, as Sigma Man is able to push on the right side. Envy does fall to Sergeant Squirt. And now it's time for Strathclyde to push forward.
Wow.
Emre with Dwarf barreling down damage, as everyone else has to back up.
The Orisa ult in response.
The Orisa ult doesn't find anything, but Sigma Man and Cheeseburger do fall. Egg Roadman and Sergeant Squirt holding the line here.
The lethal duo cleans up the fight, and I think the Orisa ult there was maybe used just to keep Renee alive.
Definitely, yeah. Renee does find Envy as they just get the stagger kill. Strathclyde have to wait out a little bit longer.
Yeah, hopefully they can continue getting these early picks just to then drag it out, and hopefully then Strathclyde will just panic and not have... Well, they only have the Flux here, so there's not really much that they can play off.
Oh, Sergeant Squirt does get caught out here, but it's Sigma Man that falls low and has to back up and does fall. The amplification matrix here for Egg Roadman does mean that Oxford Omnics can take position, and Strathclyde just have to walk all the way back to spawn.
Yeah, that's why Window is just such a great ult.
On the clock here.
You use it and you create so much space. You'll probably get another one mid-fight as well.
Definitely. 10 seconds on the clock here. Sigma Man has the Graphlytic Flux. Sergeant Squid might be able to find a couple with their own ult beforehand. And can they get the touch in time? Just about. Envy gets forced out from the high ground as the Tectonic Shock does come in. Finfun is able to find Cheeseburger. Sergeant Squid gets caught by Dwar and the Frux, but Sigma Man does fall. Can anyone touch here as Egg Roadman finds another? Renee finds Dwar, and that is round 1.
Yeah.
First point hold for Oxford.
That was incredibly strong.
Much better performance, yes.
Yeah, Egg Roadman on. I think that Baptiste ban last on the pool really hurt them, and well, granted, Egg Roadman wasn't on support, but yeah, as you can see, it seems to be the backbone of their comp.
Yeah, Egg Roadman. We saw an incredible performance on them the last map. We saw a good performance on them in the previous series. They seem to clutch up on any role, it seems.
Yeah, and I think Sergeant Squirt on the Venture, it's just like a more annoying and disruptive tracer in the front line. Really effective. Sigma Man just couldn't stay alive.
Yeah, it works. I think it works so well on defense as well, because you're able to hide out, wait for the Sigma to walk forward, and then drill into them, push them out of position from their team, and allow the rest of the team to collapse on them.
And then just dip underground and run away.
Exactly, yeah. And it's what works so well. Sigma Man falling low every time because of Sergeant Squirt, just pushing them out of the way. Looking to be very similar comps on both sides now as before. Sigma Man on the Xayah, though.
They're looking to maybe have the Freya and the May.
Yeah.
Which I think is just to catch out Renee, because I think that's... As soon as Renee is gone, I think the rest of the team is kind of going to struggle unless they can get Egg Roadman to keep clutching up.
Definitely, yeah. Envy here just looking to get some poke damage in as they're coming out. Renee struggling to hold on to that point. But it's Sergeant Squirt taking the high ground and putting the pressure on here. Doesn't manage to find much and does have to back out. Does go straight onto the May, though. May is falling low. And Renee is trying to push forward to get blocked off by the wall. Sergeant Squirt gets caught off by Dwar's wall. Incredible. And that means Renee just has to chill on point and back out. As Sigma Man is able to walk forward. And Dwar again finding Egg Roadman. This might be the play here on the May.
Oh, Sergeant Squirt swapping to the Sojourn.
Yes,
and
Zap over on the Echo, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, Sergeant Squirt straight away finds a pick on the Sojourn. That was definitely the swap to make.
Absolutely.
Beaming damage down front. Renee gets walled off by Dwar and has to back out. Uses the fortify and actually is able to stay in the fight. Sigma Man, high charge here, but gets beamed down by Zap and Sergeant Squirt. Dwar falls after that. And it looks like Strathclyde are backing up.
Yeah, that Echo Beam, just as soon as you're below half health, I think there's... If you can aim, then that's just a confirmed
Echo
kill.
definitely looking like one of the stronger heroes in this current meta, outside of traditionals.
Well, Strathclyde looking to get the Freya and May ults online. I think that will be
pushing forward here. One more fight as the Orisa is looking to hold on to the cart. They have the Blizzard early here. Renee is taking some damage. The bowler shot gets eaten by Renee, so that's shut down for Oxford here. That's shut down by Oxford, sorry. And the Blizzard from Dwar, as Dwar falls down so low and has to back up. Doesn't really look like it gets much. Renee is able to survive through the fortify.
Might be looking to use
the orbital array by Oxford means they can push forward as Egg Roadman finds another 2. That finds one, but does fall for it. And the Terror Surge from Renee clears up Sigma Man. Renee is able to find Tartan Boss, and that is 1-1 in the series as Oxford Omnics take Shambali.
Well, we were hoping for at least... Well, I was hoping for at least them both to get at least one, and they've done that. I mean, that last fight, they didn't even need to use the Sojourn or the Window.
Definitely, a complete opposite from what we saw on the last map. Oxford Omnics are definitely a lot more comfortable with the Baptiste, with the Orisa.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting series, for sure.
Yeah, Egg Roadman definitely one of the stronger players on, I would say, Oxford. Just Baptiste is just like Cass 2.0 Emre, really. But yeah.
But we're going to take a very short break, and when we do, we'll come back with an analysis of one of the past 2 maps. So don't go anywhere.
Hi, and we are back for our little map analysis after those first two maps. That was a nail-biter of a Nepal map.
Yeah, there were some very interesting games. Obviously, we've had very 3-0 games these past couple matches. The past 3 weeks, we've had 3-0s. So it's nice to see a nice heated battle and a little rivalry forming.
Yeah, and honestly, some great plays made from both teams already. Like, honestly, this is turning out to be a very good, very, very good match, and I hope it goes to all 5 maps.
I honestly wanted to get NV to get a pick on that Widow when he was getting picked up with that Jetcat. I just think it would just be such a good thing to see. Just fun. Just some fun back into Overwatch.
Although, I do, like, before we even go into the breakdown, I do want to highlight Egg Roadman.
On the Baptiste, making that important swap and doing well on it.
It's a lethal Baptiste.
They did so much better on that point without Mudkip for some reason. And Mudkip is a seriously great player, but Egg Roadman just being able to flex onto that Baptiste role really did just help their team, got rid of the nerves, was like, okay, guys, it's going wrong. Step up, we can fix it, we'll come back. And they came back, and they came back harder than they were before.
Yeah, honestly, What are your predictions for like going forward in the series? Because obviously we saw the Orisa ban is now out.
Yes.
So there's no more Orisa ban. And we know Renee is so good on this Orisa.
Yeah, Renee is such a dominable force. I mean, Sigma, he is such a great player on that tank role, but just not playing the comp or the champs that require to take down this Orisa. I mean, Orisa can really just walk all over his Sigma. He can walk all over the Zarya. It's just, even though Zarya counters Orisa, obviously Renee is showing people that it's not that much of a hard counter.
And it looks like we have the replay ready here. And well, I believe this is going to be Egg Roadman's big fight here.
Yeah, this is the one where he gets picked up by Cheeseburger and manages to take down a couple.
Yeah, so do you want to kind of like lead us off here? Like, so what is the kind of what is the reason we're analyzing this fight in specific?
So obviously, SMC have such a dominant role here, but they get forced out so back by Renee pushing up. But Renee falls so low, but they don't manage to get that second pick. They do at the end, but it does cost them Door and Tartan Boss. And it's just a rotation here from Oxford Omnics just completely taking round the side, taking the space up through the Mega Room, and completely shutting the map off for them. And negating all of this space has caused Envy to take the high ground on the other side of the map, which just makes the team fall. They're not playing together, they're not coordinated, they're split up, and they got pushed into a 2v2. Well, they got pushed into a 4v2 and a 5v2, which is not ideal in your case for numbers.
Yeah, I mean, this comp that SM here are on, this is on a Sigma comp, you don't want your Soj on a flank. Like, you have the Sigma shield for a reason. You even have the cat to protect them. And unfortunately, it just doesn't go the way of SMCL. Egg Roadman comes in for a big 3-piece, and it puts a lot of ultimates in Oxford Omnics bank.
Yeah, I mean, the DPS from SMC should really have taken this right side high ground. They've got the mini health pad there and the Mega. They could have taken the space. I mean, Renee did fall down to such low HP on that corner. If they maybe pressured that Orisa more, maybe they could have changed the outcome of the fight by taking down the tank. They would have... SMC would have still had their Sigma up in Sigma Man, and it would have helped lead the fight on a little bit more, but unfortunately, Envy was caught off on the completely other side of the map, and that damage from that Sojourn was completely lacking in that fight.
And here's Cheeseburger getting the cat altered, but doesn't matter. He drops into the back, and he finds 2 more to close that fight out.
Yeah, I mean, Cheeseburger, the cow, is just, it can be so good in situations, but they're trying to take the BAP out of the fight, trying to deny most of that healing coming to Renee, but they don't manage to get the pick on Renee anyway, and unfortunately, Cheeseburger just picks up BAP and gets shot in the back as he's taking him around. Not much maneuvers, not much really movement coming in from Cheeseburger there. It allows Sigma Man just to beam him down.
Well, that has been your fight analysis for now with me and Click. We are going to be handing back over to the casters because it looks like the teams are ready for map 3.
And thank you so much to our analysis for that amazing insight on an incredible performance from Egg Roadman on the Baptiste. Now,
Absolutely.
the series is tied 1-1. We're going to Runasape next. What are you thinking?
I don't know. I think the Orisa's going to be really strong on this. I really hope they stick with that and they don't choose to go with the Ram. Or if they do choose to go, Oxford do choose to go on something else, I think the Sigma would be good.
Yeah, definitely. It's looked good for both teams so far. We're looking at a Symmetra ban first from the side of Strathclyde. I'd say that about makes sense. You saw the Sim wall was just a nightmare in blocking, and the TPs pushing around the point is...
Yeah, even though we didn't see the Sim in the kill feed, it was just, you could hear the beam just microwaving
the beams,
away.
The turrets, just, I think being able to teleport Egg Roadman all around the map it was crucial to their victory. But on the other side, we see the Xayah ban coming in.
Ah, interesting. I think that will come in handy with the Orisa coming out, though they
didn't seem to be that fussed by the Xayah, though. I mean, I guess it confirms that Renee definitely will not have the counter, but Renee didn't really care.
Yeah, and we
see the ball coming up.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to take care of their supports and just make sure that ball doesn't get any value.
Well, if anyone can shut down the ball, it will be Egg Roadman. Sigma Man is looking to meet Zap on the Tracer first. That's a bit of distraction underway. Does rotate out as Envy pumping some damage into Renee as Renee is taking early point presence. Cheeseburger falls low and does have to back out. Renee taking no prisoners and just walking straight into Strathclyde. Chases down Dwar on the cast, but does get help from the Cassidy. Sigma Man wins the duel against that, but Sergeant Sawyer is able to trade with Envy.
Yeah, Renee just able to walk straight through Strathclyde and with no interruptions whatsoever.
Forces the lamp out of Egg Roadman, and Cheeseburger is able to finish up the kill. This could be what Strathclyde need now, as Sigma Man is rolling forward. Pushes the pressure into the Venture, but Finfun is falling low on the Juno, so Renee might just have to chill on point, and Finfun does fall. Sergeant Squirt falling low as well, and does die to Dwar. Renee now, all alone on point, and will also fall to Sigma Man.
Oxford will fall with just both of their supports. That's unfortunate. They didn't look to get the Cass, and the Immo can only help for so long. Yeah. And Egg Roadman will be swapping over to the Ana, which is interesting.
Definitely, I think that easy sleep on the ball, an easy nade.
Yeah.
Shut down Sigma Man a lot better, as Envy here holding forward, looking to get some poke damage in. Sigma Man looking to push into the back line. Renee, though, forced out early, very low with the 4-5 Finfun, keeping them alive. Dwarf falls low as well. Just stay alive. But Sergeant Squirt is able to find the kill onto Sigma Man, and that is go for Oxford Omnics as Tartan Boss falls down next and Sergeant Squirt clears up Envy.
Yeah, one thing I am noticing on the side of Oxford, though, is that Renee does just seem to be constantly really low, and Strathclyde just can't seem to capitalize on it and get rid of that incredibly strong front line.
Definitely. I think Renee just pummeling forward into the team of Strathclyde is great for them, but it does mean they have to have so much appeal from their team, as Sigma Man dancing around the point here, trying not to lose the lead. I can't really do much. There's not really much pressure as Dua is just taking his own battles. Been fun and Egg Road Man keeping everyone alive. And it's the Terror Surge coming in here, but Cheeseburger matches with the beat and the Kitsune, and Dua is using the High Noon into Sergeant Squirt's High Noon with the Orbital Ray. It beats it out. Now, forward spawn here for Oxford Omnics.
I think definitely. Oh, Envy swapping over to the Tracer when she was 96 too old. Interesting. Definitely.
You need it though, right? To follow up with your ball.
Yeah.
And the ball you're looking to take quick roll into the enemies here. Using the minefield, aim to find Sergeant Squirt. Gets slept, but it's not that big of a deal as Egg Roadman does fall to the mines. Envy then can follow up on the Tracer. And it's a 5k for Sergeant, 4k, sorry, for Sigma Man.
I do think with the Renee going on the hog actually.
Interesting.
Because I was gonna say the Sojourn swap definitely will make it. The swap to Tracer will make it a lot easier, hopefully, for Renee to actually survive.
And the Roadhog here from Renee does mean he can when the engage comes from Sigma Man, pump damage into him.
Yeah.
But they're looking to just chill here. They don't want to lose the lead, but there's a lot of pressure from the side of Strathclyde here. Renee walking forward, looking for Cheeseburger and Dua. Gets rolled in. A nano onto Dua here. And a nano onto Sergeant Square as Dua does fall to Egg Roadman. Envy pumping a little bit of damage, waiting for the bomb, and goes in, but Sigma Man falls just at the wrong time. Sergeant Square will also fall to Envy, and it's looking like Oxford are just stealing the bot though, all while Zap is distracting the backline.
Yeah, trying to get that Kiriko and making them use that Suzu, just keep him distracted.
Definitely.
And it works to your advantage.
Zap does finally get caught out by Sigma Roadman and has to force out the recall. But Renee's just there. The Pulse Bomb gets nothing. And in return, Envy's Pulse Bomb also cannot find Egg Roadman. Dua here looking to get the Tracer. Just misses. And Zap is able to escape with their life. Been fun here. Making sure that DPS is able to survive. And as Sergeant Square pushes forward with the Dead Eye, will find the sleeping Sigma Man's ball. Dua falls low and will fall to Sergeant Square. Cheeseburger here is able to get out alive as Fun and Sergeant Square fall. That's a tied series now.
Finn was able to keep Sergeant Squared up for so long, so it's no surprise that as soon as Finn fell, Sergeant Square was just completely fell over.
Sneaking around here, does get seen, can't really do much, but does live. Not much point progress happening for either team here. Oxford Omnics not looking to get the point, not looking to get forward spawn. Renee gets caught up with the ball, and I think Oxford Omnics here, they're looking to regroup so they can actually survive the engage here from the ball. Lots of ults coming in from Strathclyde.
Yeah, I think Sigma Man's going to be looking to separate them and use the mines again.
The Suzu used here for Strathclyde along with the Kitsune. But the Orbital Ray onto Oxford means that the Renee can find Dua and they can survive this fight. Envy barely staying in this fight as Sergeant Square finally falls along with Egg Roadman to the minefield.
Strathclyde that used everything there to win the fight, so I'm glad that they won.
Fun
but at
is
what
able
cost?
to keep Renee going, but Tartan Boss just gets the headshot onto Zap.
Hopefully here they'll be able to get the get ahead and get the lead. But I think Oxford are looking to win the next fight.
Fine forward spawn as Renee is forced to just chill. He's looking to really walk forward here onto the Lucio. Gets the hook and the elimination onto Cheeseburger. This is free space now for Zap and Renee to walk forward. And there we go. The whole hog from Renee pushes Dua off the map. Envy falls low. And Strathclyde have to back up.
And Sergeant Squirt coming up on another high noon.
Envy gets caught out by Sergeant Squirt. This is great for Oxford Omnics. Sergeant Squirt now probably won't get forward spawn. Sigma Man just kind of keep their dream alive for a little bit longer, but does have to back out. Tartan Boss falls to Zap, but does cost him his life from Dua.
And Dua swapped over to the Sojourn.
Yeah. Oxford here approaching the forward spawn, approaching the barrier. Dua falls low and cannot apply the pressure as Renee is able to just keep barreling forward. Sergeant Square taking the Tracer duel here, forces the recall with the whole hog, with the whole hook as well. Envy will fall. Renee has to back out as Sergeant Squirt falls low as well.
We'll
But
be
the
looking to
Deadeye
Deadeye.
from Squirt means the Oxford Omnix can just take this space, get the point progress, and keep moving forward.
Unfortunately, won't find anyone with the Deadeye, but creates all
So
of that
much space. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. As the point keeps moving forward. And the engage here doesn't quite manage to save Cheeseburger in time. And Envy also falls. This is looking dangerous here for Strathclyde as it's getting close in point progress.
Yeah, Sigma Man trying to escape, not managing to make it out. But Oxford here with both supporters. I think nano whole hog or a nano onto Sergeant Squirt.
Definitely.
Here
Egg Roadman for the early pick onto Envy, as that's the engage here for Zap to just barrel it into the spawn doors. Minefield onto the point, but does get slept for it. Doesn't really find that much, as Renee is just able to back out and regroup with his team.
That headhunter, that headshot perk on the Ana really is lethal, especially when you're a DPS player like Egg Roadman.
Definitely. Renee here taking an early fight into Cheeseburger. Does be at the beat, but Sigma Man isn't able to be saved. The nano whole hog here is lethal and pushing back Strathclyde to spawn doors.
Whoa.
Renee falls low, but does have the Juno pocket. Misses the hook. But it's Envy now, hoping to just stick their foot into the ground and force Renee back.
Strathclyde going to be looking to, get this Kitsune off.
Kitsune in from Strathclyde means that they can walk forward, as Sigma Man does take the Orisa. The orbital ray in return means that Renee doesn't have to go anywhere just yet, and Sergeant Squirt can push forward with the Deadeye. Doesn't manage to find anything, and does fall to Sigma Man.
Ooh.
The pulse bomb onto Cheeseburger though means that Renee can easily walk with Squirt onto, I say easily, never mind, as Zap does fall to Sergeant's to the Orisa.
Stopped right in his tracks by Sigma Man. Renee's still finding picks as his team's dead around him.
But Egg Roadman there as well, and then it's just Renee left. Unfortunately, as great as Renee and Egg Roadman have been on this map, it's not enough for the Orisa of Sigma Man.
That last elim by Egg Roadman means that he's 90% to Nano, which he just used at the beginning of that fight, and I think that's going to be the difference and the fight winner.
On the clock now, though. They're looking at a Terra Surge on the table, opening up with the overclock for Strathclyde, as Renee just falls straight away. But Egg Roadman gets Envy, and Strathclyde keep falling low. Zap and Sergeant Squirt clear up the rest of the team. It doesn't matter that you don't have a hog when you have a nanoed Cassidy. The Terra Surge is a last-ditch effort from Sigma Man as Oxford Omnix take Runasapi.
Yeah, like I said, that nano is really, with the damage reduction onto the person that the nano's on, and then just the insane damage output from Sergeant Squirt there.
Definitely, yeah. I think what we saw a lot of the fights there where Oxford were able to take it is they were putting the pressure onto Renee. We've seen what Renee can do on the Orisa. We've seen what Renee can do on the Hog. This Orisa, this Hog, they're really annoying me.
Yeah.
Let's put all our focus this way, and it allows Zap to go and tickle the backline. It allows Sergeant Squirt to get the dinks and find the picks. And it's exactly how we saw the last fight play out. Renee falls, but it doesn't matter. You've pumped everything into Renee, and now you have nothing to survive the rest of Oxford.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, unfortunate for Strathclyde there, and I don't really know what to say, if I'm honest. It's I would say this is a really, really good matchup, especially for how far we are into playoffs.
No, definitely, yeah.
It because you think Nepal, I would say like that, you 50-50, didn't really know what to expect. Then Oxford take it really quickly, and then you think that I think they're just, both of these teams are just incredibly strong, and it's hard to find what places they can break through the strategies.
I think this push map is a really good example as well of how both teams are so strong, and they're both so good at adapting to what each other's doing.
Yes.
You saw originally walking out on the Orisa, getting pummeled then by the ball. Oh, that's really annoying. My backline's getting constant pressure. And then that's when Strathclyde starts to push the bot that way a bit. And then Oxford then pressure back and say, actually, no, we can do this. We've found what you're doing wrong. We can apply the pressure. We can protect our backline and then start taking point. So then you see the swap onto the Hog, and that allows them to push forward all the way into their spawn. But then the swap back onto the Orisa, the focus onto Renee and shutting down that tank allows them to push it all that way back. And it just shows how quickly both these teams can adapt.
Yeah.
And I think every map so far has shown a really good job of how it, like, you've seen Nepal, really dominant performance from one team. Shambali, really dominant performance from the other. And I think this push has shown a really good example of how both teams can play both ways.
A lot more ping pong, which I guess is
That is what push is.
the gist of push. But yeah, that's why I hated push when it first came out, but now I love it because it's especially in these scenarios, because of what you just said, it's you get to see a lot more adaptations from everyone, and I think it really forces you, because you can focus on the front line more, having a frontline heavy comp, or having those flankers like Tracer and Ball to pick off the back line instead.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you see like players like Envy started out on like the Sojourn and sort of characters, but then switching over to the Tracer to help with the ball dives, and it's a slightly different play style from what we've seen from teams in the past, and it just shows how well both teams can adapt.
Yeah,
and the Hog, for example. Yeah,
and it was interesting that Dawa also. Once Envy was on that Tracer, Dawa decided to pick up the Sojourn instead. So it seems like Strathclyde actually have quite an interchangeable hero pool, which hopefully will help them bring the next map home.
One thing that's interested me actually across both of Shambali and Rudasapi now is Finfun choosing to go for the Juno.
Yeah. I agree. I think
typically we've been seeing Lucio carry very strong at the minute, but the Juno we've seen has prevailed. The orbital ray in response has been really well for them.
Yeah,
but I believe we do have our next map now.
Yes, and we will be getting. It's King's Row, and hopefully this means we'll probably see that Lucio carry again, which I think Strathclyde were really good at.
Yeah.
And though of course we've got the formidable Egg Roadman potentially on the Baptiste. They can't ban
lots of long sightlines. This will be great for Egg Roadman on the Baptiste, but then that also is great for the Orisa, of course. I think this plays quite well into Oxford, but I do believe that if they play maybe a really strong Sig comp and they spend time pushing that backline and shutting down Egg Roadman, they can push forward into Oxford. Yeah, that
seems to be Oxford's weakness, is playing against that Sig comp, because it doesn't seem like Renee really wants to play Sigma, or maybe it's obviously each to their own. But what I really hope is that we don't see that Ramatra into it again, unless they change up their playstyle, unless they've cracked the Strathclyde code, and can pick off the team around the Sigma, because, to be fair, the Sigma damage is crazy.
Definitely, yeah. And then the ability to interchange between the shield, and he's so strong at the minute that I think that might well be Strathclyde's best bet for this map. The ball could potentially come out and could be very good at rotating through.
Yes. Well, we've got our first ban here from Strathclyde. It will be the Sojourn, which I think is a very smart idea.
Yes, definitely. I think Oxford's definitely going to be looking to play the Pokio with the Orisa, with the Sojourn, with the Baptiste. Stay back, pump lots of damage in, and removing the Sojourn out of that game is great. I don't think that does too much for Strathclyde. Envy, you can just probably play like Tracer.
Yeah.
Maybe a Cassidy. Yeah, that'll be fine on their end.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll see the Jetpack Widow again.
True. How do you think that'll affect Oxford, though? No Sojourn on the table.
I think with the addition of Zap on the DPS line, I don't think it will affect them too much, because they could go really heavy brawl comp, and they could play the Sim and cast with the Kiri Lucio backline potentially, or even the Bab Kiri.
Definitely, we've seen Renee love to walk forward.
Yeah,
and Oxford, naturally, as we've talked about it, Oxford are banning the Sigma.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
Yeah,
I think it was definitely the best bet for Strathclyde to play.
I can't really think of anything else they should have banned that they wouldn't have wanted to play for themselves, because they could have banned the Tracer, but that would have hurt them a lot more.
Definitely, I think getting rid of the Sigma, that will probably force Sigma Man onto well, we've seen before the ball with no Soj in the mix either. A ball tracer could be quite strong here.
Potentially a Zarya.
Yes, yeah, we saw them try that against them on Shambali.
Yeah, I think maybe maybe a Tracer Zarya and looking to combo that Pulse and Grav. And getting that on that first point at King's Row, looking to get that Tracer all the way behind the team, I think, and then the Tracer diving, getting the Zarya bubbles. I have a feeling that might be what they might. That's what I would look to do.
I think definitely rotation is the name of the game here.
Yes.
If you're Strathclyde, don't get caught out early, especially when you're on attack and you're playing into Renee's Orisa. It's going to be very hard to not take poke damage, and especially without that Sigma now. Yeah,
I was going to say that Sigma ban really is fatal for them, because that is where they just thrived and looked strongest.
Definitely, yeah. We're going to be looking at Envy here and seeing how well they can just pressure that backline. Potentially, we're looking at on that Tracer. Yeah,
and wondering, I think the Tracer here on King's Row, you're going to need to take the Tracer duel. And if they can't seem to do that, then the two, Dawa and Envy, are just going to have to put on, I think I would say, an excellent showing to make sure that you just keep your supports alive, because otherwise, everything is going to crumble.
Yeah, definitely. And we're going to need to make sure that, like, Tartan Boss, for example, on the Kiriko is able to sustain that damage coming in from the Tracers, because it's going to be a nuisance, especially, like, if, for example, they do end up playing the ball for Strathclyde, it's going to be so much pressure on the backline that you can't not just...
Yeah.
You have to win those. But, getting into the map here, Domina. I like this. I think this is probably I don't know why we didn't think of this.
Finn on the Juno again.
Sergeant Squirt on the Mei. Zap potentially just looking to get some initial picks here on the Widowmaker. Gets a quick shot onto Sigma Man, but not quite. And yeah, the name of the game here is just going to be force out cooldowns onto Renee and just hold. Just hold.
And Oxford swapping to the Kiriko. So now Kiriko Juno. Now I really like this backline.
Definitely. Quite a fast backline. Lots of rotation. You got some TP, you got
Interestingly,
Genji. They're TPing onto the high ground straight onto Dwa on the Ashe. It does fall straight away.
Interesting, Envy is on the Baptiste.
Looking to copy previous successes.
Yes.
But saying that the TP straight into the enemy team. Renee finds the lamp. And Oxford are just taking point pressure straight away. Sigma Man falls low and will die here. But Renee does have to hold on to the point. One tick here for Oxford. Renee gets good enough healing to sustain on point from Finfun.
Yeah, that
is
Genji.
able to find Dwa. Cheeseburger looking to get the touch on the sim, but can't quite do it.
Yeah,
and that will be the point as Renee walks forward, pushes, takes this space. The barrier used for Sigma Man as Renee has to back out. The Egg Road Man is sticking around as the Genji on Sergeant Squirt engages and probably, will fall for it.
Yeah, that Genji, it was an interesting pick, if I'm honest. It's more like a mosquito than trying to bat him away. I'm not really sure if he'll stick with it.
Is able to take space now that the Genji has fallen. They have the Kitsune on tap. They have the window ready, and they can just hold on this point. Kitsune is on both sides though, as Sap gets forced off and they walk forward. Finfun uses the orbital ray to allow Sergeant Squirt to beam forward with the blade. It's actually everyone, especially Zap on the side of Oxford, able to find a pick and just beaming forward with the orbital ray, with the pressure that comes from the blade.
Yeah, and I think that actually, even though Strathclyde lost that fight, they only lost the window, which is a really, really fast building
Definitely, but that does mean now 4 minutes on the clock as Oxford are pushing right up against the checkpoint. They're probably going to want to look forward for a Kitsune from Tartan Boss straight away. Oh, it's Egg Roadman that initiates, but Cheeseburger hits the wall first. The Panopticon finds Renee, but broken instantly. And it's Sergeant Squirt and Zap, the DPS line.
Zap is full beam and
forward as Zap beams down onto Tartan Boss. And that will be the fight won for Oxford as they cap point. about 4 minutes on the clock here.
That is incredibly unlucky. 3 ults for 1 on
Definitely, yeah.
Strathclyde. That
It's about this, just about the first pick, and the DPS on the Oxford, there's so much pressure. As Sigma Man here matches on the Orisa, holds the corner, cannot quite get enough damage onto Sergeant Squirt as he's able to rotate through. Zap now pushing forward on the objective as Sigma Man, it has to back up the wall coming through for Oxford Omnix, and they all just have to back out into the defender's spawn. Duar does find Zap though.
Zap overstepping.
This is a good position here for Oxford as Tartan Boss finds Sergeant Squirt. This allows Oxford to back out, and Strathclyde can actually find their footing for once.
Yeah, unfortunate that Zap TP'd into the backline and didn't manage to escape
Renee
with his
finds
life.
Tartan Boss early, but the wall matched from Envy here means Strathclyde do hold their position.
And Renee will be looking to use that Terror Surge.
Sigma Man being kept alive quite easily here, even without the Kiriko. Renee opting for the shield perk on Zaya as well. Pushes Duar back, and the TP from Zap onto the high ground means Envy has to back out. Sigma Man though falls low and has to get lamped as Finfun pushes forward with the orbital ray. This allows Sergeant Squirt to apply so much pressure onto Cheeseburger, who dies but does get the wall off in time. Sigma Man doesn't find anything with the Terror Surge and pushes straight into Egg Roadman though, and he will fall. Renee gets 2 though, and Sergeant Squirt pushes into the spawn doors with the blade. Sigma Man falls, and that will be the point right after final touch from the Venture.
Still on the ground.
Last ditch Kitsune from Tartan Boss isn't enough as Sergeant Squirt clears up. 3 minutes 13 on the clock.
I would say
Oxford
on paper that Sim Genji is not what I would have imagined in a million years would have won them that map, but I think
But they're so fast though.
Yeah.
Like with the Juno, the Kiriko,
they're catching at Strathclyde out.
so easy to just take space. This is what we were saying that Strathclyde had to do. They had to go fast. They had to not take the poke damage on the rotations. And Oxford have done that by saying, we'll just teleport away. They take so much early space, and because of the way Strathclyde are playing a lot of the time, they have so many easy targets to teleport on. You saw it right on the first point. Dwar on the Ash, on the high ground. Easy pick. And it just starts snowballing from there.
Yeah, I would say like it's like a dive brawl.
Yeah, you got a rush on you.
Yeah,
It's just so quick, and like I guess this is why you're seeing the Juno over something like the Lucio. Is the orbital ray plus the healing from Juno. Renee needs the healing to just beam through them and get that from the Juno. The speed boost of the hyper ring. It just means Oxford can just keep walking and walking and walking, and Strathclyde can't do anything about it.
Well, Strathclyde looking to potentially play the Lucio, which I think is best to overwhelm the Sim because you can't let her charge up that beam mid-fight, and that on that last point was just beam city, and they really need to get that under control.
Yes. Okay, walking out here on the Zaya for Sigma Man. This could mean the death of Renee, but potentially not. Walking forward with one bubble as Renee is just holding on to the corner. Duar fighting the duel here against Sergeant Squirt with both Genji. Cheeseburger on the torp here, pumping some damage towards the point as Sigma Man starts taking the point. Duar forcing the Kiriko out here. Will find Egg Roadman and a clean, but Sergeant Squirt is hot on his heels and he has to back out.
Yeah,
Sigma Man though, high charge pushes onto the point as Zap evens out with Duar, but Renee falling low has to back out.
Oh, Egg Roadman on that Baptiste,
Cheeseburger
ideal.
does find Zap as Sigma Man is able to push the point presence even further and further, and Oxford Omnix have to back out as Strathclyde can start taking the point presence and get 2 ticks on the clock already.
Will be looking to retake
Renee
though.
pushing barely, but takes so much damage and has to use all the cooldowns. Turret down for Cheeseburger, but Renee does fall. And Egg Roadman follows. Duar cleans up.
I think Oxford weren't quite sure what they wanted to do there because they were down a couple, but weren't sure that they could really take it. And I think that's just because Renee knows how much they have been battered these past
yeah,
couple
and
matches.
Sergeant Squirt was always just so late. Like every time Dua was on the back line and it was able to get the pick right before Sergeant Squirt can come up. So the switch onto the main now can mean better protection for their team. And Renee taking so much damage from the main line.
Yeah, and I think they're gonna Oxford gonna be
Dua
having that.
falls low here to Renee, walking forward. Does have the Terror Surge online and is able to hold on to this corner. The Orbital Ray pushing in from FinFun means Renee can just go to town, but the bubbles keep everyone alive. Zap TPs into the backline as Sergeant Squirt fires Icicles straight down into Strathclyde. The beat from Tartan Boss means though that they get to live, and Egg Roadman does fall. Zap also, it dies, but Renee, last ditch effort, gets hammer killed in ult.
That's unfortunate.
Amazing push and pull there from Strathclyde.
Renee not choosing to swap, so I'm not too sure. That was, I mean, I respect the effort to try and pull the fight together, but against Zarya, it's kind of hard to do just because of all the bubbles.
Well, you see Grav here online for Sigma Man is looking to get something sneaky here, perhaps. Who knows?
Actually,
The
and
TP from Zap gets caught out, and Zap will potentially fall here. Does use the wall and does fall. The Molten Core used by Cheeseburger, just clearing out the point, giving them as much presence as they need, forcing back Oxford Omnic. Ice Block used here by Sergeant Squirt, but does use the Blizzard. Cassini rush in return with the Blade, as Dua finds 1, 2. Tartan Boss clears out FinFun, and that is an easy push for Strathclyde. 5 minutes on the clock now.
yeah, and they've still got that grab, which is ideal, honestly. And Oxford choosing to swap to Emery and Ashe, which really shows how much this Lucio is just kind of getting pressure on them. They can't really
I think they're really lucky because Zap just kept teleporting, kept taking damage. Zap is able to find Dua though, and Renee finds Sigma Man. This will be the backing out from Strathclyde as Renee is able to hold point. I think the hit scan switch here is good for Oxford because they can sit back, they can take the high grounds at that point and stop people like Dua, people like Tartan Boss before they engage.
Yeah, because I mean, even though you've got the poke
Window
from the
online
Orisa and
here.
the BAP, it doesn't really do much. You need to
Cheeseburger
kill them before
pushes
they get there.
forward, and Sigma Man is looking for the grab. That's the spear pin gone from the Orisa, so it should be an easy grab. But Egg Roadman uses the window here, and Sigma Man is just saying, we'll just hold here, we'll wait. He takes the high
Just
ground,
wait a minute.
and Strathclyde are just waiting out the window. They can now re-engage. Sigma Man pushes into Renee, tries to pincer. They have to force out the lamp, and Renee then can push back in with the orbital ray. Beats the response from Strathclyde, but out comes the Molten Core and
Yeah,
Graviton
and
Surge.
Strathclyde throwing everything out because why not? And they're close to Blade and Kitsune. Now Oxford really need this Terror Surge to be massive.
yes, definitely. Equal times on thing though, so 3 minutes 20 on the clock. As Sergeant Squirt switches over to the Venture, Renee falls so low and does not pay any attention to the Zarya. Sergeant Squirt though, just trying to get something done but can't quite on this Venture, and that will be the point. 2 minutes on the clock for Strathclyde.
Yeah, that
2:05 for Oxford.
that sticky turret on the wall really caught Zap out. Zap probably would have been able to be on the point a little bit longer.
Definitely.
But
Yeah, same for Renee. There was just so much pressure. They all walked out that left door, and Strathclyde are waiting for them on that left door, so they just have to barrel through so much damage from Strathclyde, and it
Yeah.
means Renee falls straight away.
jumping straight into the meat grinder. I mean, I think the Oxford swap to the Ashe and the Emery potentially should have been a bit sooner, and maybe now they will realize that that's what they need to run out on. Because they have similar time banks. Oxford with 5 seconds more, but I mean, you may think it's not much, but that could mean everything in the end.
Definitely, yes.
Zap looking to stay on the Symmetra.
I think that makes sense. Yeah, I think Oxford are definitely preferring that on these earlier points. On the high ground in third point, it's good for people like Emery to just hold there, but being able to rotate between the high ground, between the right side, around the statue, it makes sense for this first point. Sergeant Squirt sticking with the Mei.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Mei, to be honest. I mean, I understand why they're saying it, but I think Oxford's close range for Oxford is not
I think it's the opposite. I think
Really?
spamming icicles into the choke, burning down turrets, using the wall to save Renee, because Renee loves walking forward and taking so much damage.
True.
As Sigma Man pushes forward here into Sergeant's Square, it does get forced out. Renee choosing the shield perk on point, as Cheeseburger just forces them back with the overload. Finds FinFun and does fall for it though. Renee does find Cheeseburger. Duar has flipped around the point though. Is now in the back line.
This Genji's in great trouble if he tries to get any of the
Definitely.
DPS.
Renee now pushing as all of the Strathclyde are hiding in these rooms here. Zap taking the duel with Duar, and Duar will win that out.
That's unlucky.
Incredible. As Cheeseburger finds Egg Roadman, FinFun falling low as well. Renee will fall. And that means Strathclyde can start taking the objective.
Yeah, that's quite unlucky. I mean, the Renee choosing the shield perk on Orisa, smart idea. However, with that Genji and the Zarya, they're just gonna walk through it.
Definitely, yeah. Zap here, setting up turrets there. Doesn't look like they're gonna touch. They're gonna get ready for one final push on this corner. No ults online for either side here, as Zap will TP over Renee, forcing back Strathclyde and getting ready to hold this main choke. Sigma Man finally getting the charge they need. Start building up ultimate.
And this Finn is building that orbital array very,
definitely.
very
I think it will
quickly.
definitely come down to the support ults, and if Renee can push back in with the orbital array.
They will be the decider.
99% charge here for Sigma Man, but the Blizzard is almost online. I think if they can push in with the Blizzard quickly here, the beat from Tartan Boss means that they can push forward and start to build the rest of the ults. Renee pulling the team into the Blizzard means the Tartan Boss does fall, but he is falling low as well. The orbital ray saves them all from the Blizzard potentially. Not quite, as Cheeseburger molten cores all over the grab and the point. Nobody can survive that as Cheeseburger finds 4.
I really thought Oxford were gonna have that there. That's unfortunate, but Envy with that Envy and Cheeseburger with using their ults to really secure that fight. Now, I wonder if Oxford are going to try and take a fight here, or if they're going to wait.
I think you have to, right? Because it's overtime, and any fight you don't take is hundreds of meters potentially.
Yeah.
And with the wall online for Zapier and the window online, all they have to do is survive Duar, but Duar does find Zap. Cheeseburger falls though, so it is even, and Zap does get the wall online. Duar will fall along with Sigma Man, and that should be the point. No one touches round 3.
I rate the attempt. I think Strathclyde and that that wall from Oxford really just...
Definitely. The fact that Duar was so close to getting the blow before the wall went out.
Yeah.
We could have been still seeing another fight, I think.
Yeah, that is unfortunate, but I think Strathclyde has the potential to hold this. They just need to make sure that they don't let this sim run around them, which they've been doing really well. Duar on that Genji, taking out Zap very early. I think that is that's just what secured.
Zap has definitely been going for these early TPs and getting caught off guard a lot of the time.
Oh,
if they can make sure that a Vendetta pick potentially here for Cheeseburger.
Potentially.
I like this Zaya Vendetta. That's better go in with the bubble and live.
Yeah, it is.
One of the stronger characters right now.
I quite like that, because I think Duar on the Genji is good, but he is diving alone. Yeah, gets the occasional bubble, but then when your Zarya dies, is out of view. The Vendetta, I think, here is going to be a massive help.
I think, honestly though, I think the top might have been better to set up with the turret. You got the molten core onto point, so I guess we'll see how Cheeseburger fares out here.
With that poke damage, that might hurt them.
Oxford sticking with the same comp.
Better late than never.
Sigma Man just trying to get some early right clicks out. Doesn't get any charge from the first bubble, and might have to back up here as Renee walks forward with the shield. Shots pressuring into the point. TP already out as Cheeseburger falls. Zap TP's into the back line and will pressure Envy. Doesn't quite make it out of the wall here. Doesn't quite get Renee. And the back line falls. Everyone falls for Strathclyde. And Oxford Omnic might just take the point here when they finish it well.
Yeah, I think that there we go, back onto the tour, but you really need that to figure out the sim TPs.
Yes. Renee taking no excuses here to just start walking forward. Will start pressuring out Cheeseburger as they take the high ground. A little bit of pressure from Sigma Man means they back out, but they've still got all that space available.
Yeah, and Zap has got that barrier regen perk, which is when you're close to your TP, you get that. So that means that they're going to be looking to play very, very hyperactive.
Yes, definitely. Sigma Man, though, looking to take some early damage here into the right side. Zap TP's all of his team, though. Cheeseburger walks into basically no one. Tries to get the hammer killer onto the Mei. Juno and the Zai fall down, but Egg Roadman falls as well. No supports now for the side of Oxford Omnic. Sigma Man will fall, though. Sergeant Squid does have the Blizzard available, but they might not need it. Renee finds Tartan Boss. Renee falls low in themselves, though, but it's Dewar that gets caught out by Zap. And Oxford Omnics continue to move the payload.
Yeah, Oxford have the upper hand in being able to set up those... Oh, wait, Cheeseburger's still in the back line.
Okay. Doesn't quite have the Monko available, but could easily force out the lamp from Egg Roadman. Interesting turret placement there, as the Blizzard takes point, forces out the Suzu, and forces Strathclyde into this weird corner as the point pushes forward. 3 fall for Strathclyde, the window onto point. Egg Roadman does fall, but Cheeseburger can't do it alone. Just Tartan Boss left now, on their own against the world. Oxford Omnics take the series 3-1.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. That was well done of the Oxford Omnics. That Zarya grab was it was fat, but unfortunately Sigma Man just could not.
It was too late because they ran forward. They used the orbital raid. They used the Blizzard, and they said, "Do not stand anywhere here. You go fight over there." And it forces them into this tiny corner where, yes, you can grab 5, but you've used Suzu to get there, you've used both bubbles to get there, you're sitting ducks. It's shooting fish in a barrel, and I think Oxford Omnics did a very incredible job of just forcing out the cooldowns and taking the space and just saying, do everything you can, okay, now we kill you.
Yeah, well, Oxford and the formidable Renee, well, all of them, really, and I think Zap... the addition of Zap on that Symmetra really helps them close out that series there, and yeah, microwave go burr.
Yeah, definitely. That's not to say that Strathclyde were not without their faults. I mean, Duarte were incredible at picking off the back line, and Cheeseburger, interesting play there. And, you know, what quite were you doing there, like running around in the back on Torbjorn, but...
Yeah, hoping to maybe draw some more attention away. I mean, it's a decent attempt. I mean, when you're clawing at everything and you don't have an ult, and hoping that your team, you'll be able to sandwich them and potentially get picks, but unfortunately not.
I think, like, you saw how much damage Renee was taking that whole time. But because you've got people like Sergeant Squid keeping the wall to keep them alive, because you've got people like Egg Roadman doing an incredible job on the Baptiste throughout the series, it just means that yes, you can use Fortify. Yes, you can use the Javelin Spin. It doesn't matter. This Orisa is not dying.
Yeah.
And I think it's about time to claim our MVP for the match. And honestly, if it's up to me, I think Egg Roadman did an incredible job.
I think the swapping the roles after Nepal onto that Baptiste, and and the Anna are just general
lethal on the Baptiste on Shambhala.
I think the supports, everyone on Oxford did amazing, but I think the supports really, really shone this match, and I think Oxford really just showed everyone how much of like a well-oiled machine they are and how comfortable they are with each other, and being able to adapt, even though they did look shaky at points. They just came out really, really strong. Yeah.
I think our MVP definitely has to go to Egg Roadman. Incredible pick potential on the Baptiste on Shambhala.
Absolutely.
Incredible job at shutting down the ball with the Ana and Rasapi. And you saw during these Zarya comps now, just did an amazing job of keeping Renee alive and also being able to stay alive from the dive from Dwar and Envy.
Yeah, and managing the IMO cooldowns and not just throwing it out willy-nilly. That was definitely well-deserved MVP.
Incredible performance.
And not to say that Strathclyde, didn't play. They played amazingly as well. This was
and it's not over for them yet.
Yes,
they still have a run in the lower bracket. Yes. But we are going to cut back to our hosts now for our final closing words, but that is it from us. We'll see you next week.
And we are back, and oh my, what a series we had.
Honestly, what a game. We thought it was going to be close, but then Oxford just come down and just took that win. No contest in those last 2 maps. They made it look easy.
I don't know, no contest in the last few maps. I think that's a bit questionable. Kings Row, overtime point, 5-4. What a beautiful victory. And well done to Egg Roadman for getting MVP. I mean, honestly, there are obviously other options, but flexing off-roll to fill your teammates' shoes and still putting up numbers is insane.
Yeah, I mean, just the flexibility alone from Egg Roadman, stepping into the role that they needed after the unfortunate DC from Mudkip, really did put that team together and really did steal the show in some of those highlight moments.
Yeah, and that is going to wrap up our best of 5 series for week 4 of NSE. I have been your host, Imagine.
And I've been your analyst, Click.
And we will see you, hopefully, next week.